Hello, Rick Alverson here. This is ITS128, and today's the first uh, class of spring semester. And so I'm going to take you through what's important and introduce you to the textbook and so on. Let me share my screen. Okay, so log into Lamaku and click on the course ITS128. And so this class is there's a hybrid. There's two parts to this class. There's two. It's like two sections, but it's all combined into one class. And there's a so with two CRNs, two course registration numbers or whatever CRN stands for. And so one is online asynchronous and the other one is hybrid. Now, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to make videos along with the hybrid class, or I'll make videos just on my own, and I'll post those videos on a playlist. And the hybrid class will get the can come to the classroom like we all are here today and watch in person, and they can get help from me and all that after class and so on. And that's the advantage of the face-to-face portion of the face-to-face part of the hybrid class. Um, you folks who signed up for online asynchronous, you can come to the hybrid class if you want. That's fine. You don't have to. The videos will be available for you. The videos will also be available for people in the hybrid class. Am I recording? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, well, okay. Um, and so really the hybrid class is for the benefit for people that would like some hands-on face-to-face help. And also for those folks that are registered for this class that need to have a face-to-face class to get credit or to get your housing allowance or whatever. That's what this is for. Okay, so you've logged into Lamaku. Go to ITS 128, and I just posted these two things up here. Basically, the important part is content. Let me switch over to what they tell me is student view. So I guess yours looks like this, and there's the content tab up here, and this is where you find the syllabus. This is actually the course overview is the same as the syllabus, and then the text. There's a link to the textbook here, and there's also going to be a link to the YouTube playlist, and this right here will be a link. Right now, there's no video. There's no video, so there's no playlist, but this is being recorded. And as soon as this is done, I'm going to put it up there and create the playlist, and then you'll be able to come back here later after the course, after this video is done, and that should be a link, and you can watch the video again. All right, so let's go over this. Um, this is the textbook. I'm going to dive into that in a moment. Uh, um, this is the course schedule. In this course, you're going to learn Python programming. More importantly, you're going to learn about programming, and we're just going to use the Python language to teach you to help you learn how to program. And Python is very similar to PHP, which is another language, or Java, which is another language, or Pascal, or there's lots of different languages. But there's principles of programming, loops and if statements and writing the files and so on. Those are all you can do those things in all languages, and they're just you just invoke those functions a little differently. The syntax of the language might be different, um, and the key words to do stuff might be a little different. There's a lot of similarities also. Okay, so uh, let's let's take a peek at the textbook. I'm gonna because then the description here of what's on the calendar will make more sense. So let's take a look at the textbook right now. You can click on textbook, and this is the textbook. It's online. It's an online textbook. You need to I'm I'm gonna log in with my student account, with the student account I created. When you create your accounts, make sure you use your Hawaii.edu account, uh, because that way when I retrieve your scores, it'll match up with what's in Lamaku. So, but first I'm going to show you if you don't have a Zybooks account, uh, or you haven't purchased the textbook yet, when you go to this textbook link, which is this, uh, it'll look like this. And so here you subscribe and you buy it for $89. It's good for the semester. And what you probably want to do is to download the textbook. You can do that. You can download, you can save it off, save it as a PDF, and so you can have it for your future, because since this is likely the first real textbook that you'll go through pretty rigorously, and this may become a reference for you in the future, in future classes when you're writing code. Uh, you do get the first chapter of the textbook for free without paying for it, but any work that you do in the first chapter um, uh, won't stick around after you buy the textbook. So you may have to do it again, but it's not that big of a deal. So I'm going to go over to my version, which I paid for already. Let me close this and try to do this again. Oops, I gotta log out. Yes. So this is the textbook, and this is what it looks like when there's more stuff here. Down here, after you pay for it, you should have a reporting tag. You probably don't have all these tabs, but you will have one that says reporting. And here you see your participation. And so your these are assessments. There are participation assessments, challenge assessments, and labs. And with these labs, you actually write programs. Um, and so let's take a look at what they look like. Let's start with the first section of the first chapter. You want to watch this to sort of see how these zyBooks work. And so here, for example, it's there the textbook accommodates different learning styles, animations. Here's an animation. Here we're starting with computer program basics. First, you input some data into the program, then you process the data, and then you output some output results, do some calculations to do some results. Here's an example, and this is a participation activity. You complete this activity and you get points. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to do it double speed. First thing, this is showing about a basic computer program, So the first statement is to get an input and store that value into variable X. And so here, the keyboard, the user typed in a 2, and so now X has the value 2. And then we're going to go to the next statement, and it's going to execute Y. It's going to get from the input some number, and this time it was 5. So now Y contains 5. And then we're going to do the next one, and that's going to take the value that's inside X, add it to the value that's inside Y, and store that into a new variable Z. So now Z is 7. And then the last step is going to output Z. And so it gets sent out to the screen. See? So that's a very basic, simple computer program. And look, I got a check mark here, which means I got the points. Here's some other kind of participation activities. How many instructions does the program have? Well, it has 4. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what it means if you read this. And so you put a 4 here and check the answer, and voila, you got it correct. Okay, so suppose a new instruction were to be inserted as follows. So right after the z equals x plus y, right after that and before this output statement, we're going to put add 1 to z. So z will not be 7, it'll be 8. And so what would the last instruction output to the screen? So if this is inserted in there, then what is this going to output to the screen? Well, it's going to output 8. Now I'm going to show you what happens if I do the wrong answer. Okay, so I'm going to put 6. Check. Nope, it's the wrong answer. Let's say I get frustrated. 5. No, it's the wrong answer. So what I can do is I can just click show answer and then show answer, and it tells you the answer. Okay. So you see, there's no reason why you shouldn't get all the points for all the participation activities. Another way of looking at it, sadly, is if you're somebody that already knows all this stuff, you better click through all the participation activities anyway, because it counts for points. And if you don't get those points, if you don't get enough of them, then you won't get an A, you'll just get a B and so on. But for uh, for people who struggle or maybe struggle at first, programming to me is as easy as cooking. You have a recipe, and that's what the program is. And the computer just follows the steps of the program. It's a computational thing. First you do one thing, then you do the next thing, then you do the next thing. Just like with a recipe, when you're cooking something, first you do one thing, then you do the next thing, then you do the next thing. And the first time you cook a dish, it's the first time you cook, you have trouble with tablespoon, teaspoon. But after you get the hang of it, you can pick up any recipe and follow it and cook something, and it comes out, tasting fine. That's how, to me, that's the same as, or that's a, a common analogy for teaching programming. So this one, consider the instruction z equals x plus y, and if x is 10 and y is 20, then what is z? Well, z is going to be 30. So you can do 30 here, I believe, and you get the correct answer. And it explains. Oh, look, the recipe analogy. Okay, so here's another interesting activity where we can move these things around, and we're going to run the program. And the trick is to arrange the program so the output value is um, as high as you can get it. So the first time it just starts out with m equals 5, and then it outputs it. And then it multiplies m by 2, and then outputs m again. And then it multiplies m by itself and outputs m again. And then it adds 15 to m and then outputs that. And then it outputs m. So we see that as we go along, each time we output m, first time it's 5, then it's 10, then it's 100, then it's 15, then it's 115. So how can we rearrange this so m gets much bigger more quickly? Well, I'm going to start by putting the m equals m plus 15 up at the top here and see what happens. Okay, 1600 is much bigger than 115 or whatever it was before. I think that might be it. I think I just went right to the best answer. I'm pretty sure. I don't think if we do this, it's going to make it bigger. I think it's not going to be as big. No, it's not. So I guess m times m, it should be the last one. Anyway, you only have to run it once, I think, and you actually get the check mark there. Here's some more participation activities. Which instruction completes the program to compute a triangle's area? Okay, so this gets an input, base, height, and then assign x with base times height. Hmm. Um, I think, I guess you got to know how to compute a triangle. Is that compute the area of a triangle? Are you supposed to divide by two or something? I think what instruction completes the program to compute a triangle's area? I think it's base times height divided by two, right? Doesn't even say that anywhere. Base times height divided by two. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So does it say that someplace? I don't know. Anyway, so you want to divide it by two. Multiply by one half. It's this one. All right. Which instruction completes a program to compute the average of three numbers? Okay, so it's x plus y plus z divided by three. Yeah, it's this first one. All right. And of course, if you get it wrong, it tells you what's tells you that you got it wrong. You just got to keep on doing it until you get it right, and then you get the check mark. So computational thinking. This is the difference between um, well, computational thinking is what you have to be able to be good at in programming. Some of you are taking my SQL class in the morning, and for learning SQL, that's not as much computational thinking because with SQL, the hard part is figuring out what the SQL statement is. And the SQL statement can be pretty complicated. But the SQL statement is just executed once. You figure it out, you type in the whole big long statement, and then it executes once, and then it's done what you asked it to do. Whereas a program is much different. You break what you want it to do down in small little pieces, step by step by step by step, and when all those steps are done, the answer should be how you know, what you're looking for. Um, there are some people that are good at, usually people that are good in math and and they're able to formulate big, huge, complicated expressions and expressions in their head, like the physicists and so on, that E equals MC squared and that kind of stuff. That's one kind of thinking. But that's not computational thinking. So some people are good at one thing, uh, and other people are good at the other thing. And there's a place for all those kinds of thinking in math and science, and even in computer programming. And I had a little company in the late 1990s, and I hired a bunch of programmers and for this contract that we had, and there were a couple of guys there that were really good at writing SQL statements. Their programming itself was kind of sloppy sometimes, had bugs in it. But when it came to writing the big complicated SQL statements, you would go to him and he could figure it out for you. Anyway, so here's a where you write a program to where the functions are to pen up, pen down, uh, pen forward by 10 notches. Anyway, so this is the program, and let's see what happens when we run it. Pen down, forward, left, pen down, forward 100. Hmm. So anyway, and you're supposed to drag this. This is a thing you drag it around and you do see what you can draw. You see what else you can draw by adding these things and moving them around and so on. I never really fiddled around with this, but anyway, you just do it once and you get the check mark. So it's graphics, drawing graphics is the same kind of thing. All right, so that's the concepts of programming. And now we're going to learn about okay, you should watch this tutorial when this pops up. Um, the the computer program the computer program inside that processes your Python program, uh, a program that processes a program that somebody writes, that program is either called a compiler or it's called an interpreter. Uh, a compiler will take the whole program, read it all in at once, and do a bunch of massaging and analyzing. It'll pass through it a bunch of times and produce the ones and zeros that go down into the computer itself that the processor understands. Okay, that's what a compiler does. An interpreter does one line at a time. It takes a line, processes um, processes that down to the ones and zeros that get sent down to the microprocessor for execution. And then once that's executed, it goes to the next statement of the program, processes that and executes it. So an interpreter executes a program one line at a time. A compiler reads the whole program in, massages it, makes it more optimizes this, will even change some of the statements in your program in a different order because it knows that if it does that, it's more efficient and it still will come out with the same answer and so on. So you can actually just type instead of writing a program and then having the Python interpreter execute the program, you can just type the statements in one at a time, like this. Okay, so here this is an example of you have a Python interpreter, and you're typing in, first you type in wage is equal to 20, hours is equal to 40, and so this is kind of like the memory over here. Weeks is equal to 52. And then the next step is you want to salary is equal to wage times hours times weeks. So they all come over here, computes a salary and stores it in a new variable called salary. And then here we print salary, and that prints it out there. And how do we end this thing? Oh, we can change a number, and then you can execute the salary again, and all the other numbers are still there. Okay, now um, um, you can go to python.org and download and install a Python interpreter on your computer. Let's see if we got one on this one. I don't know if we do. CMD Python. Oh, we do. Look at this. We have a Python interpreter on this computer. So on this computer, I can go let me just do this here. Wage equals 20, hours equals 40, weeks equals 52, salary equals wage times hours. Times weeks, and then we can print salary, and look at that, it works. Also, what I have given to you is, or in this textbook is, let me just open up a second window. At the end, what is this? Oh, at the end of this chapter, I have this Zybook's built-in programming window, and you can even do it right here. Okay, right here, wage. Oops. Wage equals whatever wage was. Wage equals 20. Hours equals 40. Weeks equals 52. Salary equals wage times hours. That's all that. Times hours times weeks, and we can print salary. We can say, oops. I'm sorry. No, this is typing in a program, but it's not executing it one line at a time. This over here was executing it one line at a time. Here I'm typing in a program. Okay, so I typed in this program. Now I run the program. Okay, and it probably shows up. Where does it show up? Probably down here. Yeah, it shows up down here. Oh, look, I spelled something wrong. It should be hours, not here. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you're debugging your program. Uh, it's um, being able to read error statements is really important to know how to do it. And they're really cryptic. So it's, lots of times when I'm lecturing, I'll glance at an error statement, I'll think it's one kind of error, and I'll go on, and then I'll realize, you look back and it's, oops, that wasn't that error. Anyway, so what I'll do instead is just fix this hours. And then when I run it, it should work. Am I running it? Can I do this? I think I got to do Control C or something, Control X. Okay. Huh? Oh, that's the answer. All right. Run it again, and it's 41,600. Okay. So anyway, let's go back to where I was. So that's the Python interpreter. Here's a way of this is terminology, a program that executes computer code. In this case, it's an interpreter, text that represents the computer code. That's code. Um, code is plural. It's like you have a bunch of code. You have a bunch of it's not a bunch of codes. Let's see, inform the programmer that the interpreter is ready to accept command. That's the prompt. And then a row of text as a line. Okay, so then I got all this correct, and I got the check mark. So here is an example of what it is when it's a program itself. So you're not interpreting these things one line at a time. The interpreter reads the whole thing. It still does it one line at a time, but it just keeps on going to the next one, and so you can interrupt it and so on. And um, so anyway, that's what. Okay, so here's the first program. Okay, are we supposed to do something with this? No, there's no check marker. This is not any kind of exercise or anything. So this is just something if you want to try some things out. Um, these are actual Python statements. You can say, you know, you can change the words inside this quote and so on, and it'll change it when it outputs it. What's next? Okay, basic input and output. Okay, so good. We have some challenge activities in this basic input and output. I noticed that so some of you are you doing some of these exercises? Oh, so someone is doing some of these exercises right now. We're actually seeing the results. Oh, maybe it's because it's me. No, it's not, because I haven't done these challenges yet. Okay, so let's see what a challenge activity looks like. Um, Here we're just executing these statements. Write a line of Python code that prints a given text. Print Hello. So you got to put quotes around it. Okay. Let's do. Okay. So here's a challenge activity. Great. Okay. Drag and drop the code statements to output the following figure with asterisks. Okay. So we want to output this figure here. It looks like an 8. It's got a row of 5 asterisks, then a row that's just got an asterisk at the beginning and at the end, and then 5 more at the beginning and the end, and 5 more. So, how do we write a program to do that? Well, let's see. First, we want to put one of these there, and then we want to put one of these there, and then we want to put one of these there, and then we want to put one of these there, and then one of these. And that should be correct. And it's correct. I got the check mark. Um, so we sort of gathered by up here. So did we gather anything up here? No, we didn't gather anything up. Okay, so here, so this is what print statements look like when you're just printing some text. And this backslash n right here, that means new line. So this first statement is going to print hello, and then it's going to go to the next line, and then it's going to print there. And so that's why it looks like this, hello there. And then this is going to print a blank line. It's going to print nothing. It's going to print a blank line. And then it's going to print nice to, and then in the next line, it'll print meet you. So that's why it says nice to and meet you. And if we should click through this and see that that this works because we want to get the check mark here. It's going to print the blank line. This is going to print the nice to, and then this is going to print the meet you, and then we're done. Get the check mark. This is telling you that you got to make sure you put quotes, and they got to be the same kind of quotes. So this one doesn't have quotes, so it's not right. This one has quotes, but they're not the same kind of quotes, so that's not going to work. This has the same kind of quotes, and so it is going to work, so that's the answer. You can do single quotes, both of them single quotes, but they have to be the same. That's all. For this one, the password is that. Oh, you want it to print this. Well, that looks like it's just this here. You want it to print that? Well, it looks like it's going to be is a superior. Oh, it's going to be this one here. This. Oh, no. It's going to be not. It's going to be none of them. None of them work. What's wrong with the first one is it doesn't have a quote in the beginning. What's wrong with the second one? It doesn't have the word print, and this doesn't make sense here. The print this thing has got to be inside the parentheses. So this is the answer. All right. So didn't we just do that? What's going on? What did I just do? That's weird. Anyway, okay, here's another challenge activity. So let's do these. Enter the output. By default, the output of a print statement ends with a new line. So whenever the print statement is executed, it automatically goes to the next line. Okay, so let's see. Let's do this one. So let's press start. And what we're supposed to do is type the program's output and make sure to press an enter or the return key at the end of the output with a new line. So what we want to do is type here what this does. Okay, the first line doesn't do anything because it's a comment. See, it's got a hashtag right in front of it. That means that whole line is a comment. It's for you, the programmer. You put that there, and so that way, next time you go and you look at your code, you're going to remember what you were thinking at the time. Comments are especially important if you're writing code that somebody else is going to look at. Okay. Okay. So what this does is it prints Bob is nice, period, followed by the enter key. Bob is nice, period, enter. So that's what the answer is. Let's see if it's right. Good, it is. All right. What's next? Click next. Now it's supposed to print Bob is happy, period. Okay. Is that right? Good, it is. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to do something that's wrong, okay? Person age is 23, and then that's a comment. And I'm going to say print Ann is colon 23. Okay, so it's going to be Ann is colon, and it's actually going to be space 23. When you have it print something, here it's just printing those words, and then you're going to print the value of that variable. See, the value is 23, and you separate it with a comma, it's going to automatically put a space before the next thing. So this is the correct answer. This is the correct answer. But I'm not put the space because it's possible that somebody makes a mistake and they don't realize that and they don't put the space. And I'm going to check that one and it goes bung. And that's what I entered, and this is what was expected. You see, it tells me I'm missing a space there. So let's try again. Oh, and it gives me the same one. Okay. Sometimes in the more difficult challenges, it'll give you a different problem. But I think this is such a basic, simple problem, and so it just gives me the same one. And I put a space here. That's what the answer is, space. And I got that one right. This class goes to 3 o'clock, doesn't it? Okay, the last one. Person age is 23. It's going to output Bob is space, person age 23, space, then years old, period. And make sure you put the enter. Okay, so I got all those points, got all the check marks, and I got this check mark. Okay, so that's how you print something out. By the way, we're still in chapter 1. We're learning all these new statements. There's actually the print statement. These statements can actually get a lot more complicated. We're going to learn all about that later, but this is just basic stuff to get you going and so you can get a taste of programming, right off the bat. Okay, so that was outputting. And by the way, you notice that at the end of every print statement, you put a new line. Well, what happens if you don't want to put a new line? Okay. What you can do is you can say how you want it to end. And to say how you want it to end, you put at the end of the print statement, you put comma, end equals something else. And so this case, we're going to say end equals space. So when this print statement is executed, instead of outputting enter name of best friend colon new line, instead of doing that, it's just going to say enter name of best friend colon space. And then this is where the computer is asking you to type something in. It's asking the user to type something in on the keyboard. So what it's going to do is when it comes to this statement here, it's going to wait for the user to type something in on the keyboard and then press the enter key. So it's going to sit there and wait, and it's going to accept everything that the user types in until the enter key is pressed, and then it's going to continue on. When you press the enter key, it's going to take what the user typed in, stick it in this variable right here, and then move on. And the last thing it does is it prints my best friend is space and then whatever the guy typed in. So let's see what this looks like when we execute it with this here. Executes that and outputs that, and then the person types in Marty McFly. And so it ends up looking just like this. This is printed out with a space after it. Then it's just sitting there and it's waiting for the input. And then the user types Marty McFly on the same line because it didn't go to the next line. It's still on the same line. And then the user types the enter key. So it goes down to the next line. And now we're at the next line here, and it's going to execute this last thing here. There we go. All right. So we can see that. Where's the other one? Ooh. Print, enter name of best friend, colon, and I'm gonna just leave it like that. And then I'm gonna say best friend equals input. And then I'm gonna say print my friend is whatever is colon, comma, best friend. Okay, now I didn't put this end equals blank. So now let's see what happens. Let's go down here and let's run this. See, it went down there. So I'm gonna push um what's Biff Tannen. And it says my friend is Biff Tannen. So let's put that, let's do this comma end equals space and run it. See, it just sits there and uh who else is in that movie? Jennifer, my friend. Okay. So anyway, so that's how you do input and output. You can also do it this way. You can also put this inside here. Enter name of friend, space, colon, end. And we can just not, we don't need this one anymore. I'm going to make it a comment. Okay. That's one thing you can do is when you're debugging or when you're changing your program or enhancing your program or whatever, you sometimes don't want to just delete a bunch of stuff. Sometimes you want to leave it there so you remember what you did before and you remember, you come back, oh, I tried that already. And so then you can just comment what you had there and it'll just be there, but it won't execute or anything. So this is an example of that. I'm going to comment out the print statement and I'm going to take advantage of the fact that with this input statement, you can actually put something to print out inside the parentheses. Okay, so now let's execute this and see it. It prints out enter name of friend, just like that. And then you can type in best friend. I don't know, Lorraine. That was Marty McFly's mother. So anyway, I just want to show that to you. All right, so here, make sure you understand the syntax. Here's complete the statement which reads in a user entered string into the variable myvar equals input. Is that the answer? Yes, okay. Okay, now sometimes, all right, so what happens if you want to type in a number? Well, when you're typing in a number, you're actually typing in characters. Like if you want to type, 25, you're actually entering in the character 2 followed by the character 5. And the character 2 followed by the character 5 inside the computer is not the same as the value 25. So you have to be smart and know that. And so what you have to do it, the way you have to do it is like in Python, you have to take the input and then you have to do a function on it. You have to operate on it. You have to turn it into an integer. Take what was read in, and it's going to be some characters that are all digits. And then take that Python and convert that into the actual value because I want to do some calculations on it. Okay. So you use the int function. So this thing here is where you're gonna enter in a wage, which is which is gonna be, we think of it like a number, but when you type it into the computer, it's gonna, he's typing in 3 characters. So what's the first one? It's a 1. What's the second one? It's a digit, and so on. So this is how you convert that input. First, it's gonna take the input and it's gonna convert it into an integer, and then that's what's gonna be stored in wage. And then here we're gonna take wage and add 10 to it, and we're going to store that into new wage, and then it's going to print that out. So we can do print enter wage colon and equals that. And then we're going to say, I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to say um, wage one equals input. Okay. And then I'm going to say wage equals um, the integer equivalent of wage one. Okay. And then I'm going to say new wage equals wage plus 10. And then I'm going to print that. So this should do the same thing. Enter the wage, and I'm going to type 18. Uh, oh, that's that. Oh, okay, right. Oh, yeah, okay, right. That's right. Oh, no, no, no. Let's run it again. The wage is, enter the wage, it's 8. Enter the age is wait, enter the wage, it's 8. And then I'm going to add 10 to it, and comes that. So just so you can see what's going on, I'm going to print um, wage one, and then I'm going to print wage, and so it's going to be 8. It's still going to print the character 8, then it's going to, that's not a good example. I'll show you this example later on, but anyway, the idea here is that wage one is not the same as the value 8. Wage one is a character 8, and then this int function changes what's inside of it to an integer value. Now, if you do something like wage is ABC, then you're going to get an error, see, because you can't convert it ABC into an integer. It's trying to do statement 4 doesn't work. See, wage equals this. So it's not working. It says invalid literal for int. You know, that's invalid. It's got to be a base 10 number. See, so that's what this is telling you. So that's the error. So sometimes you might be writing code and you might forget to do the int. Well, if you forget to do the int, then you're going to get this error, and then you'll kind of know why. All right. So I wanted to do this is 1.3. I've shown you some challenges. Oh, this talks about errors. There's syntax errors. Syntax errors are when you just type something in wrong and the interpreter tells you right away. So here, the syntax error. Where is the syntax error? Oh, this is the syntax error right here. See it? You can't have a print statement just following another print statement like that. So with the syntax error, the interpreter recognizes it right away, and it displays out an error. An execution error is different. This over here is an execution error. The interpreter doesn't really sense that there's anything wrong. This looks fine. And if the user always types in a number, then it's always fine. But when the user doesn't type in a number, when the user types in some characters that can't convert into a number, then that's a runtime error. Okay, there's no syntax errors, it's a runtime error. And so that's the other kind of error. Runtime errors. See, here's an example of a runtime error where it looks like somebody typed in Henry instead of salary. Syntax error, okay. So these are the common types of errors in Python. Okay. Syntax error, there's syntax errors in all programming languages. Indentation errors, there's really only indentation errors in Python because in Python, indenting matters. We haven't had a chance, we haven't seen a case yet where we've needed to indent, but when we do, we will learn about indentation errors and the problems that it can cause. And indentation errors are unique to Python, and when we get to it, I'll explain why. Value error is when is like they call that's the runtime error that we were talking about. Um, where, for example, you type in letters and you try to do a function on it that can only accept numbers. A name error is a program tries to use a variable that doesn't exist. The first time you see a variable, it's got to be on the left side of an equal sign. If the first time the interpreter sees a variable, the first time it sees the variable and it's on the right side of an equal sign, then it's an error because everything on the right's got to be defined already. And when you assign a new value to something, that thing that you're assigning the value to is on the left. So so if so that can cause a name error. And then a type error is kind of like what we see up here is where you're trying to do an operation on some variable and you're trying to do an operation that is not valid for the type of variable it is. You know, you cannot concatenate, two numbers. You add two numbers, but you don't concatenate them. 15 plus 20 uh, as numbers equals 35, but 15 plus 20 when the 15 is the character 1 and the character 5, and 20 is the character 2 and the character 0, and you use a plus sign in Python, and those are not integers, but they're character strings, then it will concatenate the two. 15 plus 20 would be 1520. Let's see if I can write a program to do that. Okay, I'm going to say wage 1 equals that. Wage 2 equals, this isn't going to work. Yeah, I'm going to say input. Print wage 2, and then I'm going to say print wage 1 plus wage 2. And then forget this. Okay, first I'm going to run this, and I'm going to say I think it's waiting for wage 1 right now. So I'm going to do ABC. Wage 2 is DEF, and wage 1 plus wage 2 is that. So I'm going to say I'm going to change this to enter wage 1, and I'm going to say enter wage 2, and it's going to print that. Okay, now I'm going to say instead of okay, I'm going to do this. Wage 1 equals int wage 1, and then I'm going to say wage 2 equals int wage 2. And we're at this time, and it's going to say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Now I'm gonna take away this. I'm gonna comment this one out, and I'm gonna comment this one out, and I'm gonna run it again. And I'm gonna say wage 1 is 1, 2, 3, wage 2 is 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3 plus 4, 5, 6 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, that's because the second time these were left as character strings. Whereas when I had these two statements in there and executing, these converted those character strings into actual numbers. And then so the plus sign, when Python sees a plus sign, if it's a plus sign between two character strings, then it concatenates them. If it's a plus sign between two numbers, then it adds them. That's kind of unique to Python too, also. Okay, so let's okay, so here we're just correcting syntax errors. So the syntax error here is that the quotes are not the same. The syntax error here is that there should be quotes. I don't see anything wrong with that. And I don't, oh, here there should be a comma. Should be a comma right there. So let's just fix these. Copy. Oh, paste. Let's make this the same. I'm going to just make this a single quote. Let's put some quotes here. I think that's okay. And I got to put a comma here. Doesn't matter. Does this work? Yeah, I got it. Okay, very good. All right, I want to okay, so um there are different kinds of development environments. Um Studio Code is probably the most common one. This looks like Visual Studio Code, but it's not. It's PyCharm. But we aren't going to really worry about this because we're going to do everything in the textbook. But maybe in ITS 148, you might get into using uh, getting some experience with some other integrated development environments that you're more likely to use if you go out and get a real job. Um, but learning, but after you learn how to code, after you learn how to write programs, and then if you have to learn an integrated development environment, it's really, really easy. So that's kind of why we don't really worry about that right now. But this talks about them, and so it's a good idea to go through this. Let's do a lab so you can see what a lab looks like. So this is the first lab. Kind of explains coding, why we code, should read all that stuff. And so let's do this lab here. We can get 10 points. See, right now we have 0 out of 10 points. What we're supposed to do, what does it say? Okay. Given an input integer, output 2 times that integer. End with a new line. Given an input integer, output 2 times that integer. All right. Um, what? Read an integer. All right, I'm going to say input integer, whatever, equals input equals input. It's actually got to do this int, convert the input into an integer. That's how you convert an input into an integer. And then you want to output 2 times that integer. Okay, well, how about if I just do print 2 times input integer? Read the integer using a variable using int input. Okay, that's what I did. Int input. Then use this to print the output 2 times that integer. That's what I did here. And then don't forget to end with a new line. It's going to automatically end with a new line when I use the print. Well, I don't need to do, I don't think we need to do this anyway. Okay. All right, I'm just going to run this and see what happens. And right now it's sitting there waiting for my input. It's so dumb that they don't force you to prompt the user. We're supposed people first time people do this, they're sitting there, what's going on? Anyway, so I'm going to type in 10 and it prints out 20. Okay, good. So let's run it again. It's waiting for an input, 501, 1002. Okay, great. Wonderful. I think I got it. Submit for grading. Lo and behold, I got all 10 points. Wow, that was a difficult one. So I got a check mark there. All right, what time is it? 2:49. Let's do the next one. Okay, these are practice. These are when there's the word practice here, it's still a 10-point lab and everything, but I think it like gives you hints all the way until you get it. Okay. So here's what I with this program, it's um write a program that takes oh, okay. Oh wow, this is comp okay, so gee, I can't believe this is okay, I must have written this practice lab because this is a pretty fancy print statement. Okay, this is a different kind of print statement. The way this print statement works is the F followed by, there's an F, which is, it's a function, F function, and there's something in single quotes here. So you're supposed to print what's in the single quotes. So it's going to print that. But this here, when you put that word name there, when you put it in curly braces, what that means is that there's a variable called name, and to output the value of that variable right there. So we're supposed to finish this program. Well, and what this program is supposed to do is it's supposed to read in the name of somebody, and the user is going to type in the name, and then it's going to output this. It's going to output, and that's so we have to make a variable called, we have to say name equals input. Okay, so then now we have a variable called name, and it has asked the user for a name, and the user presumably is going to type in a name, and in this example, the user typed in the name Maddie. And so now Maddie is equal to the character string capital MADI. And then when this thing executes with this kind of print statement, and there's like 3 or 4 different kinds of print statements, and you're going to learn them all in this class. This is going to print, first going to print the word aloha, then it's going to print whatever the value of name is, and then it's going to print comma, welcome to ITS128. So if we run this, it should, first it's going to ask for the name. It's sitting there waiting for you to type in a name, and I'm going to type in my name, and it's going to say, aloha, Richard, welcome to ITS128. So, and that's the program. And I got the points. Okay, so let's go back now to the syllabus. You can get the syllabus here or get the syllabus here. It's the same thing. And so we see we have participation activities and we have challenge activities, and then we have these lab activities, and there are that many points of participation activities, and that's going to equal 28% of your grade. So, you want to click through all of them. Even if you know it all already, just click through them. If it's the end of the semester and you're, you're 2 or 3 points away, well, you can be lots of points away from the next grade, and you look and you look in your, you look here, you look here, and you see that it's not all 100% all the way down the participation. Well, go in there and just click through them. The answer is a click, 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 click. It's the end, click, 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 because you want to get those points. Presumably, when you click through them earlier in the semester, you'll be, absorbing all the knowledge that it's presenting, and all these different learning styles, accommodating all the different learning styles of all you guys out there, and you pick up all the stuff, and you're able to plow through the challenge activities no problem and do the labs. With the labs, I'm gonna I'm gonna publish a spreadsheet that I've done most of the labs in previous semesters, and I've recorded those. And so I have a spreadsheet that has where you click on the link and it takes you right to that point in the spreadsheet where you start doing the lab, and you'll be able to get through most of the lab by watching the video, and you should be able to finish up the lab no problem. Or maybe sometimes with the video, I take you all the way through the lab, and so it's pretty straightforward. So look, and then the challenge activities, those are the kind of like the quizzes to me, and uh that's 30% of your grade. And then the labs, there's 34 labs, and I'm going to throw out the worst four. So I'm going to not count the worst four labs, and you can not do those. You don't have to start the labs for me not to count them, but um, so it'll be up to you. Um, and then this discussion forums. Okay, so this is an online class, and we're supposed to have for online asynchronous classes, there has to be regular substantive interaction between me and you. And so, instructors try a bunch of things. I've tried a bunch of different discussion forums, but it's just not in my nature to go in and so anyway, so the discussion forums are going to be up there for you folks. And so like if you're having problems with the lab or something, post it up on the discussion forum. Hey, anybody got a hint on this? How are you doing this? Or if you have questions about the class or anything, you can post it up on the discussion forum. I'm not going to go in there that often, but I'll probably go in there often just to see what you're doing. Um, but but you have to do some participation, and it doesn't matter really what it is. And participation can include reading. I'm able to see if you go in and look, okay, that registers with this, so that'll count, okay. But it would be nice if you could, offer some feedback, and so you can get those points. The regular substantive interaction with me is going to primarily be these videos, and we can have these videos where we have group sessions and more than one student joins in, but that never happens. So the regular substantive information is going to be between me and you. If you have any questions at all, you can text me. Okay, don't call me. I probably won't answer the phone, but you can text me. First time you text me, tell me who you are, and so I can put you in. So you'll be a known number in my phone, and then I will respond. Um, you know, Pretty much right away. I'll say something, or you can email me. I'm a kind of person that gets on. I'm on email all the time. All the time. I always check my email. And if you have any problems, just and no question is a dumb question. You know, if if I if you ask a question and I just finished posting it on the video, and you should, don't don't worry about, oh, I'm afraid, I don't want to ask this question because he probably told us the answer in a video and I haven't watched the video. Don't worry about that. No question is a dumb question. And you should watch all the videos, but you get busy, and especially if it's a video where you can do it yourself, that just wastes your time. If it's something you can do yourself, then I'm not expecting you to watch the video. Just do it and get it right, and you can submit as many times as you want. I encourage that, and all it takes is is persistence to get all the points in the class. And you know there's going to be two or three or four of you that are going to get all the points. You can do it. You only have to get 90% of the points in this class to get an A. And so most people who take the class fairly seriously and they do make an attempt to do all the work, most of the time they get an A. So there's a lot of good grades in this class, and then there's a lot of not good grades in this class. And there's not really a lot. I don't really give a lot of C's and not too many, more B's. Not too many D's or C's because it doesn't take much to get a B or an A. So you either get a B or an A, or you don't do anything and you get an F. I don't like giving Fs, so what I'm going to encourage, if it's down to the end, if it's the last day of this last week of the semester and you haven't done anything, I'm going to encourage you to take an incomplete because I don't want you to give up. And you'll actually have like 2 more months, and you can get an extension on the textbook. And so I want you to pass the class. I'm going to do everything I can, give you all the opportunities to pass the class. These due dates are just recommended due dates. It's all auto graded, so anything you finish by by the end of the semester, by the last day of finals, anything you finish will count for full credit. And now, not all instructors are this way. I'm this way because I can be because I've set it all up so everything's auto graded, and it doesn't take me very long to grade. And so I might as well make my deadlines, your deadlines. There's no artificial deadlines between me and you. Um, and then in the very end, if I end up giving you an incomplete and you don't finish the incomplete and the incomplete turns into an F at I'm talking about just very few of you this might apply to, but most of you I know are going to be serious and at least try to get a B. Um, so if you end up not getting a good grade, it'll be because of you. And you got to work on that. And I was once there. Part of the reason why I'm kind of lenient like this is because it took me a while to figure out, you know, how to do well in school. And then after I figured it out, I think I do very well in school now. And also, a lot of you have family, working full time, maybe taking care of your parents. This may be third priority in your life, not first. If people in Manoa, a lot of those first priority, but school is first priority. You guys, maybe not so much, and so I want to kind of give you a break there also. So, so the fact that everything is auto graded and you can submit as many times as you want means just stick with it. Also, the textbook is designed so you can just, if you have 15 minutes, you can go in there and knock off some participation activities. You can knock off a couple challenges, go to, fixing dinner or whatever. And so it's accommodates that kind of learning style also. All right. So that's it. There'll be a video probably once a week. I'm going to publish more. This video is going to be on a link on the side here. I'm going to start up a playlist, and I'll also publish that spreadsheet that it's got links to the labs to be able to help you get through the labs. And so is that it? Do you have any questions? Good. Okay. All right. So I'm going to sign off, and thanks for watching.